One of my favorite theological Latin terms is extra nos. It means outside of us. And it has to do with, first of all, our salvation. It doesn't come from me, it doesn't come from my works, it doesn't come from my feelings, it doesn't come from my will, from my decision. It's all, my salvation is from outside of me. It's from outside of us, extra nos. It comes from the Father's gracious heart, from the Son's perfect submission in life and in death, his perfect sacrifice from his innocent suffering and death. It comes from the Spirit's work. Our salvation is entirely extra nos. It is outside of us. Now, if that is just used in order to show where we as Lutherans are right and where other Protestants are wrong and where the Roman Catholics and Greek Orthodox mess up, and then I can win an argument with other Christians, that while it's fun to win arguments, doesn't really do a whole lot of good. Extra nos, more than being right where others are wrong, extra nos is extremely practical for my day-to-day living. So when I am feeling guilty, me personally, I'll tend to think about what caused that guilt. I will roll over in my head the sin that I committed, whether it was a thought, word, or deed, and I will think about it and think about it and think about it. I will stay inside of myself and just mull over my sin and start to bend in on myself more and more and more, so that I'm curled up in a little ball, figuratively, and I'm just miserable because how could I have done such a dumb thing? Extra nos straightens me up and puts me outside of myself, and look, the Lamb of God who takes away the sin of the world. Or when struggling with pride, because boy, look at me, I've been doing some stuff. I've gotten my chores done. I'm not entirely behind. I'm almost caught up. And I can start looking at myself and loving me and loving how much I have done compared to all these other people who have not been as productive as I have been. I could look at myself and see what kind of principle I am living by and what a principled person I am, while these other people are living wildly and seeking pleasure and things like that. And I can look at myself and think, I'm doing pretty good. But extra nos gets me outside of that, which it's a dangerous place to be, being proud of myself. Extra nos gets me outside of myself to see the commandments, to see what Jesus says about not just ending someone's life, but not hating your brother and being angry. And then I see Jesus on the cross for me and taking my place. Dying not just for my wild living, but for my principled living. Dying not just for my sins, but for my righteousness, which are like filthy rags. Extra nos gets me to stand up straight and to look outside of myself. And to look outside of myself to God, and to look outside of myself to my neighbor. And the more I do that, the less I curl in on myself, whether because I see what a fool I am, or I curl in on myself and pat myself on the back because I've been such a good little boy. Extra nos gets me to stand up straight, to look at the cross, and to love my neighbor. On Sunday, we're going to hear the trilogy of parables from Luke 15, and we'll see in that third parable, the parable known as the prodigal son, we'll see the one son who went off in wild living, seeking pleasure, and the other who was a principled man, who lived not in wild living, but in hard working. And we'll see that both of them were really in the same spot. They were focused on themselves. Extra nos gets us to see the gracious Father who came and threw himself upon the prodigal son, and came to the older son and offered him an invitation to the joyful party too. Think about Extra Nos, and look at some of the links that are in the description to this video. Some wonderful things to think about, and to know that it is a practical thing for day-to-day living, for throughout the day, to be able to stand up straight, to stop thinking about yourself so much, to think about Jesus and my neighbor. Peace be with you.